gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
The painting of Mary we see here by Fra Angelico is part of an altarpiece originally created for the convent of Fiesole, now in the Prado Museum in Madrid, mentioned at the start. It moves our story on almost 100 years, from the Sienese Annunciation of Martini to Florence, and it returns us to Fra Angelico, where we began. Still technically the early Renaissance, but now we enter the famous Quattrocento. We see clearly an early attempt to employ the newly discovered technique of perspective. Later artists will render it more effectively, as we shall see, but the progression is evident. Many of the traditional elements are here: the dove, the golden rays of light shining down upon the young girl, the deep blue of her cloak, the colour of heaven, and her red dress, symbolic of Christ's passion to come. The pigments were rare and expensive. The blue came from the semi-precious lapis lazuli, brought all the way from Afghanistan, and was frequently reserved to adorn the Virgin. Also to the side, not depicted in the Sienese painting, are Adam and Eve being expelled from the Garden of Eden. Mary will be the second Eve, who will dispel the sins of the fall according to Catholic doctrine, and Christ will be the second Adam. And in the enclosed garden of the foreground, the ortus conclusus, another element of the traditional composition. The grass is a rich dark green, with numerous flowers and herbs growing in profusion. All are in bloom, no matter what the season, iconographic symbols of Mary's virtues. The Annunciation is described in great detail in a book, The Golden Legend, by Jacopus di Voragine. It was a standard reference book of painters of the Renaissance. Here, all the symbolism of the moment was unfolded. The theme was especially loved by Angelico, and over the course of his life he painted several versions. The one featured here was created as an altarpiece for the church in Cortona, now in the museum there. The angel's golden words literally emanate from his lips, as we saw in Martini's version. Likewise, the Virgin's gesture of acceptance, although her words are turned upward to the sky, as they are meant only for God. Several other more simple renditions of the theme can be seen at the convent of San Marco in Florence. Located throughout the monastery, these pared-down works were intended as meditations, reveries, if you like, to be contemplated by the monks in private prayer and in daily life. There is one particularly lovely fresco on the landing of the first floor, just at the top of the stairway. It can be seen as one ascends the stairs. Its archways mirroring those of the San Marco hallway, so at first glance it appears an indivisible part, as if the scene depicted were quite real. A small band of gold at the base of the fresco reads, "When you come before the image of the Ever Virgin, take care that you do not neglect to say an Ave Maria." Angelico, born in 1400, was originally called Guido di Pietro, but posthumously called Fra Angelico by his friends, because his frescoes were so arrestingly beautiful. Giorgio Vasari, the self-styled biographer of Renaissance artists, describes him as a gentle, introspective Dominican monk who could not paint a scene of Christ's crucifixion without tears streaming down his cheeks. Angelico possessed a rare and perfect talent. It is impossible to bestow too much praise on this Holy Father, who was so humble and modest in all that he did and said, and whose pictures were painted with such facility and piety. In 1982, Pope John Paul II proclaimed him blessed in recognition of the holiness of his life and declared him patron of Catholic artists.